Alright, we're back for another Dokkan Battle video, and in today's video we are going to be going over some of the content that you can expect to see for Part 2 of 9th year anniversary, because of course, we do got Part 2 right around the corner. The timer on the Broly and Gogeta's banner right now is at 270 hours for me, so basically that's 11 days from now. So it's not like insanely close, but it's creeping up, and I figured we could do a video going over a lot of the main heavy hitters that we are going to be getting for Part 2 of 9th year anniversary, just so you guys know what to expect. But we're not going to be going over every little specific detail of Part 2. We'll do that once the celebration info gets revealed, because I don't want to accidentally forget something, or say we're going to get something on Global, and then we don't end up getting it on Global, because, look, Global Dokkan's weird like that. Sometimes they just don't add stuff, I feel like they just do it for the hell of it, but I guess there might be a reason behind it. So we're just going to be going over, like, the Easy A's, the banners, the new LRs, stuff like that. So first off, we got Broly, Cheelai, and Lemo right here. With their Easy A, I mean, I got nothing to say, but yeah, they're good. They can become really good defensively. They're a good support, and yeah, just overall great additions to a lot of extreme class teams. Now, they are one of these units that need a decent amount of key spheres, so that could mess you up if you just straight up get unlucky with your key sphere luck. From my experience with using them, majority of the time, they're going to be alright. I mean, they're not really going to struggle that much. So anyway, their 12 key is that they get 50% attack and defense, colossal damage, and then greatly lower attack. Their 18 key is that they massively raise attack and defense, and then do mega colossal damage. This is a great 18 key super attack effect. Basically, their defense is doubling on their 18 key, and then any additionals, you're getting half of that again. So yeah, just amazing super attack effects. You don't really get better than that. Their passive is that they get 30% the stats per key sphere obtained, and then another 10% per physical key sphere obtained. They get 2 key per key sphere obtained, just in general, so it doesn't matter what key sphere it is. That's really good. And then they give all allies 2 key and 39% attack with an AGL or an STR key sphere obtained, and then all allies get 39% defense and then 2 key with a tech or an int key sphere obtained, and then all allies get 2 key and 15% to stats with a rainbow key sphere obtained. So on like the perfect rotation, let's say you get like 5 rainbow key spheres. I mean, that's the most you could get anyway. You're supporting everyone for like 70% to stats, and then also some key, and then this guy has some damage reduction support here in a second that we're going to talk about. So overall, dude, this guy is an amazing support. So definitely someone you would want to consider running if you're using some of the teams that he's on, especially if you're running movie bosses or super bosses, because as you can see right here, this guy gets, okay, yeah, he gets 39% the stats on super. He launches an additional attack. And then movie bosses and super bosses category allies get 10% damage reduction when key is 24. That's not a little amount. 10% damage reduction is reasonably significant, especially considering the attack and defense support he's giving and the key support. Like, dude, this guy's support is just insane. So that's very good. That's going to make a lot of other units look a lot better. And then also this guy has a high chance to dodge. What is it? Yeah, with 7 key spheres obtained, so that's very valuable. It just makes him better defensively. And then he randomly changes key spheres of a certain type, physical excluded, to physical key spheres when HP is 60% or less, and then he changes all key spheres to physical key spheres when HP is 39% or less, once only. So, overall, this guy's an absolute great unit. Like I said, he's on some extreme class teams that would need the help, mainly just movie bosses and super bosses, because I'd say Joined Forces, Bond of Friendship, and Power of Wishes aren't particularly extreme class teams, but movie bosses and super bosses are getting massively buffed from this guy. So if you pulled LR Broly, the new one, and you need some more additions to his team, you know, getting this guy awakened or feeding super attacks into him or whatever you want to do just to get him ready for his Easy A, it's going to be worth it, because this guy with his Easy A is very crazy. So that's Broly. There's also one other Easy A that we get for Part 2. We get the Kaioken Blue Goku and then Evolution Blue Vegeta. They're just as crazy, man. They are just as crazy. I've been using them a lot on my JP account, and especially next to like the new UI Goku or the 6-year anniversary LRs, they just work flawlessly with them. Now, I will say this. They are definitely a slot 2 and 3 unit, but it's not that big of a deal. You could definitely make that work just because how many good slot 1 options there are on their teams. For example, 6-year anniversary LRs, Beast Gohan, Gogeta, just stuff like that. So they don't really struggle with their position in the game right now, which makes for some pretty crazy rotations. So regardless, their 12 key is that they get 50% to stats, colossal damage, lowers attack and defense, 18 key massively raises stats, and then causes mega colossal damage to enemy, and then greatly lowers attack and defense. So great super attack effects, the exact same as the physical Broly, and like I said, that was a flawless super attack effect, and I still think that's just absolutely amazing. Doubling your defense on your 18 key, and then getting a bunch of 12 key super attacks, which they are going to be getting. They got a ton of built-in additionals. It's just a recipe for success in slot 2 and 3. Their passive is that they get 4 key, 170% the stats. They randomly change key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres when there's another superheroes category ally on the team. That's not difficult whatsoever. There's a lot of really good superheroes options in the game right now. Obviously, you know, Beast Gohan, who is going to be dropping for part 2. We got the Gamas. We got UI Goku, who's not on global yet, but we're going to get him within the next couple months. There is the 6-year anniversary LRs, who we are going to be getting for part 3 of the celebration. They're absolutely insane. Yeah, Vegeta, who just released as well. And those are all the, like, top tier options, like the Z tier options. If you want to talk about some of the weaker options, but still good options, I mean, you know, Orange Piccolo, 5th-year anniversary LRs, if they're easy A. There's this UI Goku, this one who just got his easy A for the countdown. Actually, I'd say he's Z tier. So, the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of really good superheroes units that you could run next to these guys that would then give them some of the rainbow orb changing. So that's not going to be difficult to get whatsoever. And then he gets 2 key per rainbow key sphere obtained. He gets an additional 7% stats per key sphere obtained, a chance of performing a critical hit, plus 7%, and then 7% damage reduction, and then launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super per rainbow key sphere obtained. So that's why rainbow key spheres are so important with this guy. They give him 7% damage reduction, and an additional that has a high chance to become a super, and the 7% crit chance, but that's the least important out of all of those things. So if you're getting, like, I mean, I guess, yeah, you could get 5 rainbow key spheres with them, so on their perfect rotation, you're going to be doing, you could be doing 6 supers, and if all of those end up being supers, I mean, do you know his defensive stats going to be after that? Alongside, you know, his little bit of damage reduction that he's going to have because he gets 7% damage reduction per key sphere, or per rainbow key sphere obtained. Like, this guy's best rotation, we're talking like over 30% damage reduction, defense in the millions, over 30% chance to crit, multiple supers. I think this guy can do up to 5 supers in a turn because he does have a cap. Yeah, you can see here he can do up to 3 additional attacks within the turn. So I'm assuming that's not including the hidden potential system additional. So he does his first super, you know, his 18 key, massively raising stats. He gets the 3 additionals, which if you get lucky, all 3 of them are supers. You get 3 50% attack and defense buffs there. And then your hidden potential system, which is another one. So we're talking 5 supers. We're talking, you know, over 30% damage reduction, over 30% chance to crit. He's rainbow orb changing, and just all this crazy stuff going on. It just makes him for an amazing slot 2 and 3 option. So very good with that. What else? This guy also gets an additional 70% to stats when key is 18 or more. He performs a critical hit when key is 24, and when HP is 50% or less, he reduces damage received by 70% when attacking once only. So, yeah, the 70% damage reduction is when attacking. So, again, slot 2 and 3, and you only get it once, and you have to be below 50% HP. So, this isn't going to be that common, but it's still nice that he has it. It's a little extra guaranteed defensive tanking for a turn, which I would say is pretty valuable. And then his active skill, he gets 24 key and 70% attack, and then he gets minus 50% defense for 1 turn. So that's one big flaw with him. Obviously, he still loses half his defense on his active skill, but maybe in a fight where you got type advantage, you could pop that and still be good defensively, at least where you're tanking normals, because defensively, even when you get a debuff like this guy is not going to look horrible. Where, you know, like before his EZA, it was like if you did this guy was just unusable. He was already kind of unusable in the first place, but now that he's really good defensively, even with this, you know, you could see where he could still be kind of useful defensively. So just be really careful with this active skill, and it's going to be really good because the damage he's going to be doing on this turn, I mean, it's going to be insane. It might even be worth the little bit of defense that you lose. The condition behind it is that it can be activated when HP is 50% or less, so, you know, kind of difficult to get, I guess, but it's still pretty useful that he has that. And then you know what? I guess technically, you have this when HP is 50% or less. So the first turn that you can get this active skill, if you do it, you lose the 50% defense, but you also get 70% damage reduction. So this guy's really not going to be struggling all that much. So yeah, good design, great unit. Like I said, slot 2 and 3, he's going to destroy it. So really quick, before we move on to the banners, I do want to go over the weakness for both the Broly and the Blue Goku and Vegeta's EZA event. So the Broly, Cheelai, and Lemo's weakness is movie heroes. Just bring a lot of LR movie heroes units. And then for the Blue Goku and Vegeta, Realm of Gods. So that should be pretty easy to do as well, especially if you pulled like the new Gogeta or something. So both of these should be pretty easy to do. I'll do a team guide that's going to go into more detail on how to beat them in the future. But for now, if you don't really care about the team guide, you just want to get these teams ready. Again, for the Broly, Cheelai, and Lemos, it's Movie Heroes. For the Blue Goku and Vegeta, it's Realm of Gods. So moving on to the banners, we're going to briefly go over these and then we'll call it a video because it's starting to get kind of long. The Gamas banner, it's good, man. It's definitely the best Carnival LR banner of 9th year anniversary. Gamas, very good unit. Future Gohan can still be valuable. These two, they're defensive stacking units and they've got guards. So they still can be good, but of course, they've fallen off a little bit. But in the right event, they'll have their value. Bulma, I still absolutely love Bulma. I think she's still one of the most valuable units in the game. Between support, good defense, a lot of weak teams that she's on as well, so she's crazy. We got Merge Zamasu. He's good. He's kind of like a floater if you want to run a full Zamasu and Goku Black team, or even like a Super Bosses team. So I guess he's got some value because he'll work on, you know, the new Broly's team, i.e. Super Bosses. But of course he's got his issues. He's really only good for like slot 2 and 3. So if in turn 1 he gets supered or if he gets locked in slot 1, yeah, he's not really going to be that crazy. If he gets sealed, he's not going to be that crazy because he gets a lot of his stats on super. So he's got his issues, but he still can be good on like the perfect turn. This guy got his EZA somewhat recently, the latest worldwide download celebration. He's pretty good. I still like him. I think he can be valuable in some events, but of course, he's got his issues, just like every other unit. We got this STR Trunks. I like him. He raises defense for multiple turns and it has the high damage reduction, so he can be valuable. Same thing with God Goku. Raises defense for multiple turns. Got some damage reduction. And then this is the Nucleid Vegeta, I think. So if you don't have him, I guess that's kind of good just because he'll help you with the punching bag event. But if you already did that, you don't really need this guy. And then, of course, there's some unfeatured LRs, but they're exactly that, unfeatured. You know, the chance that you're actually going to pull them are a lot less than some of these units up here. But if you still get lucky, you know, you get an AGL Golden Frieza, you get, I don't know, I guess you get STR UI Goku. He's not featured on the banner, but he just got his EZA, and technically he's in the unfeatured section, so he would be a great pull. You got some future EZAs, so we've got the Team Universe 7 and then the physical Frieza in 17, who got their EZA for Tanabata on JP, so we should see their EZA relatively soon. There's Ribrianne, so you got some good options in the unfeatured section as well. So that, combined with some good featured units, makes for a decent banner. But this banner is nothing compared to Beast Gohan's banner, man. I mean, we could just go ahead and get into it. Beast Gohan, absolutely insane, easily the best unit. Krillin and 18, surprisingly good. They're not insane, but they got a lot of dodge and they support superheroes. They're not really going to be like a top tier option on that category though, because when you want to run superheroes, you're not saying, oh yeah, let me run Krillin and 18. Nah, you're trying to bring, you know, UI Gokus, Evolution Blue Vegetas, Blue Goku Vegetas, these fusion units, you know, all these types of guys, not Krillin and 18. But maybe you're new to the game and you're missing some slots on the superheroes category. They would be a good filler option just to throw in because of their support. Blue Goku and Vegeta, they kind of suck for the first couple turns, but they can be really good once they fuse. GT Duo, yeah, they're just good. You got to get going with them. By that, I mean build up their damage reduction. But once you do that, they're very valuable. Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta, meh. Not really the biggest fan of them. I think they don't suck, but they're teetering on that area. They're starting to age very rapidly. So 6 months from now, they're probably not going to have any value whatsoever. And their value now is still very limited. I'd say maybe in like a type advantage, really difficult event, they could be kind of useful. But outside of that, nah, not really. We got monkeys. I like them. I think they could still be pretty good. Of course, you got to get good RNG. By that, I mean you got to stack a lot with them and make sure you don't die within the first like 6 turns and then fuse with them after that. And then they can be good for slot 2 and 3. But, you know, you got to go through some hoops to get there. So they're still, they've aged. I'll say that. But I still do kind of like their design. I think they're fun. And then 6-year anniversary LRs with their EZA. Dude, they are so busted and so good. But we do get that for part 3, so we got to wait just a little bit longer to see that. However, we are getting it. So look forward to that because they're just insane. They're on the same level as like Beast Gohan. If not, maybe you could even argue a little bit better. I think Evolution Blue Vegeta, you could argue that because between the two, I think he is just a hair better. But they're both still very crazy. Now we start to talk about the weaker options. Gobros, meh. Piccolo, meh. They're good, but they're not really that crazy. But mainly, Beast Gohan, Blue Goku and Vegeta, GT Duo, and then the 6-year anniversary LRs make this banner insane. So anyway, I guess that has been the video. you know, like I said, we're just going over the main things for 9th year anniversary, some of the main pieces of content that you could look forward to. So let me know in the comments what piece of content, just for the rest of the anniversary in general, you're looking forward to the most, whether it's the part 2 content, part 3, or I guess if we get part EX, because the part EX content we already got on Global, so I don't really know how that's going to work, but whatever, we'll find out soon. So that has been the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you on the next one.